Hello and welcome. In this presentation, you're going to learn about the Xangati product. Xangatis are leaders in service assurance for virtual infrastructures. This would include VI that's just running on like Hyper-V or ESXi or Zen server, right? You've just got virtual servers up and running. Or it could be virtual desktops that are powered by, again, Citrix Zen Desktop or Citrix Zen App or VMware Horizon with View, things such as that. Xangati also is good for physical servers. And as you'll see, we give a very comprehensive end-to-end view of what's going on in the IT infrastructure. And there are many reasons why Xangati absolutely rocks. And so what I'm going to do in this presentation is I'm just going to punch the differentiating points so you get a clear understanding of what we've got and why this is great, and some of the key points you want to make when you're explaining it to customers. Now, when it comes to service assurance, there has traditionally been a problem out there. You've got these point tools that look at just the networks, right? And some of those require hardware probes, oh my God, or software agents to be deployed. Ugh, they can be a mess. Others are not so invasive. They'll use the flow from the switch, right? NetFlow or that family of protocols. Switch tells you all sorts of interesting information. There are tools that look at networks. There are other tools that look at hypervisors, that manage them, that say, hey, well, where are the virtual machines? What servers are they running on? How are we doing for CPU? How are we doing for memory? How those data stores looking for IOPS? It's all they show you. But maybe those virtual servers are using some physical servers as supporting actors, right? Maybe your DHCP server, your DNS server, your AD server, those could be physical. And while there are tools that look at physical servers, they have no idea about the virtual environments. And they have no idea about the networks that are being used. So, then you've got mobile device management solutions out there. You've got point solutions for managing virtual desktops that come from VMware, that come from Citrix. You've got certain software suites that are designed to look at web applications. And, it's like looking at the world through a straw. You can't really piece together the whole picture. In fact, you're switching straws, right, to get each of these different views. And what you really need in order to do a good job running the virtual infrastructure is you want to get a solution that's looking at all those silos end to end. Everything. I'm not just talking inside the data center, all the way out to the client devices, right? They're having experiences using virtual desktops on any mobile device, anywhere, anytime. How's it looking for them? How's that virtual application running for them? And so you want to have that end-to-end visibility, including the data center, the client devices, and all the way out to the end users. And that's what Xangati has. And here's a slide showing very exacting exactly what it is that the Xangati is going to support, right? When it comes to networks, we're looking at everything that's on the LAN. There's a variety of networks, right, that are in the data center that are going between servers, that are going from servers down to storage, that are going from servers out to the client devices. You might have WAN if you have multiple sites. Some of your networks are physical networks, but some of them might be virtual networks, right, that are being supported by hypervisors and such. And then you've got ADCs. The ADC is really the gateway from the data center to the outside world, right? Application delivery controller. And this gives you resiliency, it gives you load balancing, and you know what? You can get a lot of great metrics from an ADC to see what's going on. If there's a user having a performance problem and there's an ADC, boom, I can divide that problem in half. I know whether that problem's from the ADC out to the end user and the client device that they're using, or whether the problem is inside the data center. And I can chase it down using the Xangati, because Xangati's looking at all the storage. It could be direct attached, it could be iSCSI, NFS, CIFS, SMB. I mean, you can read all of these different things are supported, and we have especially deep support for NetApp storage. We can tell you a lot about what's going on well past the data store, about what's going on with that NetApp. We're looking to support, give that deep support for some other storage vendors as well, because people seem to like it on the NetApp. And then when it comes to the physical servers, we're out there looking at all of them. They could be running Windows, they could be running Linux, that's fine, or they could be a hypervisor host. And in which case that could be ESXi, Hyper-V, Zen server. Then on top of that, you're running guest VMs. That are running either the Windows operating system or the Linux operating system, let's say. And then you could have virtual desktops, either the VMware Horizon with View variety or the Citrix Zen desktop variety. We support them both. And then there's, if you don't want to virtualize the entire desktop experience and project that out to a mobile device, maybe you just want to virtualize some Windows apps, run them centrally for all the advantages that you get there, and then project them out onto BYO mobile devices. So you'd use XenApp for that, right? It's more granular. So a lot of people like that. And then there's the traditional web applications, right? These are not Windows applications that are being projected out. These are running on web servers using HTML and CSS and JavaScript and jQuery, and they're being projected out to really anything that has a browser on it, and also out to mobile apps. And then you've got your mobile clients as well as part of the picture here. You know, people want a BYO, so it's the phone they've got in their pocket. Or maybe if they need a little more screen real estate, they're going to use a tablet to do their job, you know, on mobile style. Or maybe they've got the traditional desktop or the notebook, or hey, if they're at a desk, give them a thin client. That's a great way to go. Then you get all those advantages of having the computing being done centralized. But you know, the thing about doing all the computing in one central place is one noisy neighbor starts to upset that central computing infrastructure, and you must locate the troublemaker and do it quickly, because it could be affecting applications and users that are just innocently going along their way. And that's really where the Xangati comes in. Without agents, because traditionally, you know, these service assurance is like, okay, we're going to help you get everything running. Well, we need to put our man on the scene. We need to put an agent onto the server. That's going to require that server to be rebooted. What? That server's not scheduled to be rebooted for 3 months. No, we need to get our infrastructure more monitored. We need to get on top of what's going on. We're sick of always being on the run. We need to install these agents and reboot those servers. No, you're not. That server will be rebooted in 3 months. That's a problem. The other thing about agents is they can open up new security holes. You take an agent, you put it onto a client device, you're going to drain its battery life, open a security hole, sap its performance. Agents are no panacea. And so what we've done with Xangati that people really appreciate is we do all of our magic, giving all this insight that I've been talking about across the virtualized infrastructure, all the way out to the client devices, including the users. We know their name, we know the device they're on, we know what their world is like at every second. I'm getting to that. No agents needed. We do it all with APIs. So that makes it much easier to, you know, manage the solution. Optics. It would be a problem if you are looking for a 3-second delay every time the end user touches their screen. 1, 2, 3. And they're like, oh man, they touch the screen again. 1, 2, 3. They're like, oh, I am so aggravated, right? So it's 3 seconds that ticks them off. If it's 7 seconds, watch out, they're coming at you. So this is, you know, the type of thing that gives, you know, virtual desktops a bad name. And so you need to find the cause of those delays and those latencies and those problems. You know, sometimes it's the person themselves. It's what they're running on their client device. Could be a bad wireless network. Could be something in your data center that's the cause. But the fact is that if you use a traditional tool, almost every tool out there that I know of checks the metrics. What they say end to end, they really mean just in the data center. And they check those metrics every 5 to 15 minutes. Normally every 15 minutes. If you push it, you can go to 5, but no more granular. Are you really going to find a 3-second delay using a tool that only grabs the metrics every 5 minutes? If you do, buy a lottery ticket, because it's your lucky day. You just used a tool that only looks every 15 minutes and you found a 3-second latency. You caught it in the act and you know exactly why that happened so that you can make sure it never happens again. It ain't going to happen. You need a tool that's doing second by second. Now, also for storage, right? A storage latency of 10 milliseconds is fine. I have no issue with that. I'm from storage. I have no problem with a 10 millisecond latency. Yeah, storage can go faster, but 10 milliseconds usually flies. No one has a problem with that. 2-second latency? Every time the disk needs to be accessed? Okay, you're going to start missing your SLAs. You're going to have some virtual server dudes in your organization that are running mission critical business applications. They're not going to be happy. So what you really need is you need something like Xangati. Xangati is what the customers are looking for because it gives them that second by second granularity. We see everything end to end. We have better optics about what's going on than anyone in the industry. And when things go wrong, usually a monitoring solution, a virtual infrastructure management solution, usually what they'll do is they'll throw an alarm. And those alarms, they don't really come as just one alarm. They come as a cascade of alarms, right? As all these different components of the infrastructure start complaining about the exact same problem, root problem, or maybe two root problems break out at the same time. It can happen. But the fact is that other solutions out there, it makes the admin person, the IT administrator, it makes them alarm numb. After about a week or two, they're not even seeing alarms as a problem anymore. They are completely numb because all these alarms are thrown. And it's just crazy. You're not going to go down and chase each one of them, manually one by one. And so then the finger pointing starts. Oh, it's that silo over there. Oh, it's that department over there. Blah, blah, blah. Right? And people don't even know because they don't have second by second granularity and they got a wall of alarms to deal with. It's not a good day in the office. It is a much better way. Introduce to your customers the Xangati because we take all the alarms that are generated and we do advanced analytics on those alarms to determine the exact root cause. And we do that immediately in real time. And so we've got a tool called the Xangati Storm Tracker. It pinpoints the cause of each and every resource contention storm. And what this means is that IT personnel can then go and focus in on the one alarm that is the root cause. And they will love you. They will love you when you give them the Xangati and they have this root cause analysis working for them. Makes all the difference in the world, combined with the second by second optics. And the other thing that happens when these monitoring solutions that are not up to the level of a Xangati is they generate a lot of false alarms, right? So thresholds, people go out there, the solution gets installed, and thresholds get put into place. Then if a threshold is crossed, an alarm gets generated. Well, maybe that threshold being crossed on a Monday morning is fine. Whereas when it's crossed on a Thursday afternoon, it's a sign of anomalous behavior and someone should look into it. So what you really need is you're not going to be changing these thresholds manually, right? No one's going to do that. And so what you need is a solution like Xangati that has dynamic thresholds. What we do is we look at all of the alarms that are being generated and we ask ourselves, have we seen this situation before? And we learn from the environment. It's called machine learning. We're able to go in and we're able to pinpoint the cause of any resource contention storms that are happening. We're able to take the false alarms out of the picture because we know when a real alarm is happening. Now let's talk a little bit about troubleshooting. So, I've seen a lot of solutions. I do the competitive analysis for the company and I look at all of these competitors' solutions and they've got dashboards full of activity, dashboards full of numbers, dashboards full of bar charts and line charts. And I ask myself, is this a circus or is this dashboard that I'm looking at really going to help me chase down a problem? And a lot of times it's just a circus. Like when you think of the main scenarios that you need to go in and troubleshoot, some of these other dashboards aren't very effective, but I love to use the Xangati solution for its effective troubleshooting because when one of those dynamic thresholds are crossed, Xangati captures a recording of the IT infrastructure, the client devices, and the users, captures a recording of everything, with second-by-second precision. You grab the time bar, you move it to the left or right to move through time. You find, oh, that's where the problem was occurring right there, okay? Then you drill down. And you know, Sam, your best troubleshooter, has been known to be able to find any problem. You know, give Sam a couple of days, Sam's going to find that problem. But, you know, one of the problems would be granularity. Maybe Sam's not going to find the problem because he just doesn't have the optics. The other thing is 2 days is a long time for one problem. Now, with a recording, you give one of these, in these recordings, they can be just attached to an email. You send it to Sam. Sam opens it up. Boom. That problem solved in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's done with absolute crystal clear. You've got the smoking gun. This is exactly what happened that caused that problem because you've recorded it, right? It's like police have the little cameras now. You know, you know what happened. It was actually recorded on video. You can go through it. You can see exactly what happened. And so that's one of the things Xangati has that's very, very powerful that people appreciate. Cuts your troubleshooting time down from hours and days to just minutes. Not only for Sam, your best troubleshooter, but also for Jim, your worst troubleshooter, can also solve any problem in 5 to 10 minutes. Now that's IT productivity, so that personnel can focus on more important things than break fixes. Now, of course, the best thing is to have a tool that can predict what's going on in the future. And unfortunately, a lot of the tools that have been out there, the legacy tools, they're reactive. They only deal with problems, as they occur. They don't know when a problem occurs. There's some important questions like, is this recurring, or is this a one-off? They don't know, how severe is this problem? Is it a little problem? Is it a really big problem? There's a problem, but like, how severe is it? Right? They don't know if the problem is it getting worse over time or better over time. Because if it's getting better over time, maybe I'll just go work on another problem. And if it's not so severe, right? Or if it's not recurring, I'm going to go after the ones that are recurring that are getting worse, right? That are impacting more. Those are the ones you want to get rid of. So Storm Tracker does all this. Xangati Storm Tracker uses our advanced analytics, our predictive analytics, to look over all of the alarms. The severity is determined, any recurrence pattern is determined. And, we look into the future and we say, hey, your environment might be running great right now, but you've got to make the following changes to balance your workloads or put more hardware into action here. Because if you don't, out here in the future, you're going to hit a resource contention storm. So we can identify them ahead of time. IT personnel take the appropriate actions, and then it is averted. The problem is averted. And so that's really what I'm talking about with the prescriptive remediation. It's one thing to say, hey, we can predict when a storm's going to come using our advanced analytics. But the question for IT is, what do you want me to do? What can I do? Just tell me what to do to make sure that the environment's always running smoothly. And so Xangati does that, again with the Storm Tracker, which tells IT personnel where they can go ahead and go in and rebalance workloads. To that way, you're making the best use of the IT infrastructure you already paid for, right? So you get a better ROI on your purchases. Because you're rebalancing the workloads. Everyone's happy. You're using the infrastructure you paid for. What's not to love about that? You can get precise visibility into what needs to be purchased, not guesswork. And this is something that the CFO, very much approves of. You want to see some POs get approved? You put some Xangati smoking gun reports in front of the CFO, and he's like, okay, now I know you're not making it up. On this date, this happened and we needed this. This is a recurring problem that's been happening over the last 6 weeks. I can see it. I can see it's getting worse. I can see we're hitting the wall. I can see we're going to be in for a world of pain. And I'm approving the PO because the PO tells me, no, what do you need? More hosts, networking, storage. You need to put some flash into your storage. Is it one of those supporting? Exactly what is the problem? So that we can spend the money very precisely. And those POs get approved quicker. There's nothing that'll accelerate a PO like Xangati. And we actually have a free trial download that our partners use. You put that into the customer's environment, and you can very quickly show them what's going on and what they should buy. And it accelerates sales cycles, which is a great thing, right? So Xangati is the solution for service assurance. I mean, look at how happy this woman is in this picture. Xangati is a virtual appliance. It can be self-installed in 1 hour with no agents, so it's great for doing, an IT assessment. It's a great service that you can do for your customers. It provides unsurpassed clarity about the IT infrastructure, as I spoke about, second by second clarity, end to end, in just a single day. And it automatically discovers all of the different components in all of the silos, collects that information in with the second by second precision that we've been talking about, and it uses its advanced analytics to determine the root cause of storms as well as predict future storms, and it prescribes the exact steps that IT needs to take, whether it is rebalancing the workloads that they have or buying some more stuff from you. It tells them exactly what they need to do. So looking at then the major features and the benefits of Xangati, I'll just take this go from the bottom up. Right? The fact that it has second by second metrics makes it stand apart from all of the other solutions that are out there. It gives the best visibility, and we do that with no agents. It's truly end to end, and it works. This is the largest virtual infrastructures in the world run on Xangati. Okay, we're in there making sure that that thing's running like a fine Swiss watch, and our view includes the entire data center, the client devices, the actual user's experience. The real-time dashboards are there to give cross-silo oversight and intuitive break fix. You get a recording. It's essentially a recording of a dashboard. We have robust reports to help communicate and plan the IT infrastructure. The advanced analytics are in there understanding the customer's environment, helping them to make adjustments, predicting what the future is going to look like, all in real time. And the dynamic thresholds are in there making sure there are not false alarms, so the IT administrator does not become numb to alarms, and also eliminates manual efforts because we're changing the thresholds using machine learning. We start out with industry best practices, and then we learn from the environment once we've been installed as to what normal is at that particular time of the week or weekend. We profile everything. The root cause analysis, the benefit of that is you're going to get rapid issue resolution, and the powerful recordings have the benefit of dramatically faster IT help desk resolution of issues as they crop up. The trouble tickets I haven't spoken about much. This gives the ability of the end user to actually file a complaint and go, hey, you know what? I'm not happy right now. What's your name, blah, blah, blah. And then the recording will automatically be captured and attached to that visual trouble ticket so it can be tracked by IT. It's awesome to give the end users a voice. They feel really good about it, and it helps IT do a great job delivering an unrivaled end user experience. Storm Tracker's in there doing all of its prediction. It's preventing problems from occurring in the future. It's helping to resolve issues by showing root cause when issues crop up. And so let's take a look at some of the different dashboards that exist within Xangati. Here's the executive dashboard. This one is, you run this like once a day. This is not one that runs continuously. I'll show you that in a minute. This one just kind of goes in and says, hey, how's the environment doing in terms of performance? It looks like it's doing well today. Availability, uptime. How are we doing for capacity utilization? Because you want to be sure that you're using all that IT infrastructure that you bought. How are we doing for efficiency? How are we doing? Are there any anomalies that are occurring? What are the top risks that are occurring? What are the recent issues, which are a little less important than top risks? And how are we doing compared to, for instance, how we were doing in the past? How are we doing today compared to where we were in the past? And you can look at different things like how are we doing in terms of availability or in terms of performance or in terms of efficiency. That's what the little at the bottom there, you see it says availability. You can change that dial. Okay, so that's the executive dashboard, and these can be printed and these can be emailed. This is the main juice for the IT person. This is the real-time overall scorecard. The advanced analytics are at work here. You can see on the left what we're monitoring. Okay, this is a VI scorecard. So this is for virtual infrastructures. So we're looking at all the VMs. There's 187 of them. We're looking at the hypervisor hosts. Looks like there's 9 of those. Right? We're looking at some different networks, the data stores, supporting servers. and so forth. And for the infrastructure, we're saying, hey, here's how you're doing in terms of performance, availability, relative capacity index, and efficiency of use of your infrastructure. And it's at a glance, right? If it's red, then you know you got a problem. If it's green, you know, just ignore it. Everything's fine. People put that up on the big monitor. Now, when alerts start happening, I'm showing you here the all of the a wall of alerts. And many tools, this is what you get. You get the wall of alerts, and this is all you get. Now, one thing about these alerts is that if I am in manual mode, and you know, and I want to double click on one of these alerts, then I can do so, and a recording will be pulled up. Every single alert has a recording that happen. It's not like alert and then it tells you, oh, such and so, there was a CPU ready condition. No, you get the recording of the entire IT infrastructure. You can move backward and forward in time, then drill down and resolve it. But there's a better way than doing that, which is to use one of our advanced tools like Storm Tracker. We'll get to that in a minute. So here's the recording being pulled up. I've double clicked on one of the alerts, and the time bar is across the bottom there. You can move it to the left or right. And right now I'm looking at some data store IOPS. I'm actually tracking down a visual trouble ticket that was issued by a VDI user. And so I'm looking at some data store issues. I'm looking at some network bit rates here on this particular dashboard. And you can pivot around, and the little down arrow that's in each of these sections lets you change what you're looking at as your suspicions, start to move around from one thing to another thing to another thing. This is, in fact, the visual trouble ticket that I was talking about earlier. This is where the end user can just go to, some server location, whack VTT, and they can say, okay, here's who I am, here's my email address, and here's my comment as to why I'm ticked off right now. And then that goes with a recording over to IT, where it can be very quickly dispensed with. Now, if you want to use the highest level brain of the Xangati and the highest level brain that's available in the entire industry when it comes to service assurance, then you're talking about the Storm Tracker. And what we see here is some different hosts. This is looks like a VMware environment, right? ESX hosts. I see 3 of them. 2 of them look fine. One of them doesn't look so good. Those little gray bubbles, those are resource contention storms that are starting to break out there. So you can see visually, it's a heat map, right? So you can see visually where there might be trouble. And then you can go over and you can say, show me all of the storms that are going on. And you can say for when. Well, right now you can see the radio button in the top left. I'm looking at all of the current storms that are going on, but I could look at some recent ones or ones that were earlier today. But I've got one up, so that's all I need to explain this to you. I've got a CPU contention storm in my crosshairs here. It's on an ESX host. And the thing about that is that ESX host is hosting a whole bunch of VMs. See down below all of these VM? These are all affected by this CPU contention storm that's going on this host. So it's like the detailed view. It's like this is well past a gray bubble. This is showing you everything that's being impacted. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go in and hit the button that says Analyze. And when you do that, we're going to run some deep analysis of the situation. And here's what we figured out. For this, we figured out, hey, it's a CPU contention storm. And we said, hey, here's all of the VMs that have been alarming. And at the bottom, you see that some VMs, some people who shall be named, in fact, View 53 Client 6 and View 53 Client 12 are exhibiting significantly higher CPU usage than other VMs, in addition to excessive CPU ready times. And so those are your 2 troublemakers. And so you see what we've done is we've analyzed a whole bunch of alarms, and we're like, this is what you need to focus on. And then you can even click the button that says recommend. And then Storm Tracker will go in and say, okay, here's the thing. We've got a CPU contention storm. What we're finding here is that the host lacks the CPU resources required to meet the overall demand. And to alleviate these performance storms, what do you think we're going to ask you to do? It's pretty clear what you'd want to do in this case. This one's not too complicated. You either want to upgrade the physical CPU in that hypervisor host, or just move some virtual machines off of it. Use some vMotion and just move them over onto some other hosts. And we'll tell you some other hosts that are like underutilized where you can move these virtual machines to. Looking at the graph, you can see that this is not the first time this particular CPU contention storm has occurred. Every single one of those dots is a time when it has occurred. And you can see the trend is it's getting worse. Now, here's a report that we can also generate that is our absolute capacity alert report. And the nice thing about this is even if your infrastructure is running great right now, we can tell you when thresholds are going to be crossed sometime out in the future. And that's what I've drawn this yellow box around. It's like these are problems that have not occurred yet. It's like the ghost of Christmas future. These are things that may occur in the future if you don't change your ways. And this is exactly what you need to do to change your ways. The prescriptive remediation advice is right there as part of the report. And if I'm going to be offloading these virtual machines to something else, then what's that something else? Well, you can see that the host at the top here, this is the one that's being overloaded right now. It's getting all the CPU contention storms. But heck, these others are fairly underutilized. They're not pinned at like 96% utilization so with their CPU. So they would be good targets so that you can make better use of the IT infrastructure that's already been purchased. So what have we got here then? We've got the Xangati. It monitors virtual infrastructures at scale, meaning we do very large environments. We can do hundreds of thousands of metrics, even in the largest environments, because we've got this whole like in-memory architecture and going on and everything. We do it with second-by-second precision from the entire end-to-end infrastructure, including the clients. It's proven in the largest infrastructures in the world. It looks across the silos to eliminate the finger pointing and give a holistic view of what's going on. It's what everybody wants. We monitor all the worldwide operations. If you've got multiple sites, you put Xangati in at each of the sites, and then you can just get one picture of what's going on at all the sites. You see a problem, you click on a row, boom, you're in that site. Now you're off to the races looking into the problem. There's no agents or probes needed with the Xangati, which people love, very good for the administration, and it gives very fast time to clarity in 1 day. We don't need 6 weeks to learn from the environment. We'll give you some really good insight in 24 hours. And we'll reduce those break-fix times with our powerful DVR recordings and let you see the anomalous traffic alerts. So that you can look for bad actors. Maybe it's a security problem. Maybe it's just someone streaming videos that they shouldn't be, on work time. And what's more, Xangati's going to go in and it's going to help your customers go in and resolve and prevent problems, because we will assure the performance of the environment with our prescriptive advice and our predictive analytics. We'll increase their efficiency with our second-by-second visibility and our prescriptive analytics. We'll help them avoid storms by telling them exactly what to do to rebalance in their environment. We'll save them time by determining the root cause of the problems and providing the exact steps necessary to make sure they don't recur. We'll minimize those false alarms using our state-of-the-art machine learning dynamic thresholds that we talked about, and we'll help them make better IT purchase decisions with our informed and powerful reports. And so then the business benefits, you're in the front of building, talking to the CFO. It's good for him to know, what can this do? There's just another tool. Oh my God, I'm spending so much money on these tools. What's the Xangati going to do for me that I don't already have? Well, I'll tell you, Mr. CFO, it's going to help you save money. What? How's it going to help me save money? Back that up. Well, it's going to give you operational efficiency and better informed IT purchase decisions. I'd like to see some better informed POs come across my desk. You've got my attention. What else can Xangati do for me? It's going to help your company meet SLAs that are important for the critical success factors of your business. How's it going to do that? by its root cause analysis, its predictive analytics, and its remediation device. Oh, interesting. It's going to help you to increase the productivity for your end users because everything's going to be running more smoothly. It's going to help you to mitigate risk for your company, Mr. CFO, by correcting and avoiding resource contention issues. It's going to help you get faster problem resolution within your company so everyone's happier by leveraging the powerful portable DVR-like recordings and the root cause analysis. And it's going to help to increase security by flagging any anomalous behaviors that might be happening. Oh, well, that sounds very interesting. I'll have my technical evaluator look at it. You've got my attention. Hey, that's all you wanted was his attention. Later, he'll see the PO. So, in the end, what you've got is Xangati, the best product out there for doing service assurance. And I encourage you to come to our website to learn even more about it. But in the course of this presentation, you have learned the most important points that you want to put forward in promoting Xangati.